Their inspirational captain. 4 is Des Walker. 5, Darren Wassell replacing Carl Tyler. 6, Roy Keane. 7, Gary Crosby. 8, Scott Gemmell. 9, Nigel Clough. 10, Teddy Sheringham. And 11, Kingsley Black. One change then from the Forest side, the big Crystal Palace in the quarter-finals last Wednesday. Brian Clough loves to have 2 wide players, Crosby on the right, Black on the left, and Sheringham's form, as Elton says, really has returned at a good moment, a hat-trick last Wednesday. Spurs, for their part, Eric Torstvedt returns to goal for them. Number 2, Terry Fenwick. 3, Pat van den Hauwe returns to left-back. 4, Steve Sedgley. 5, David Howes. 6, Gudni Bergson replacing Gary Mabbutt, who's not quite fit again. 7 is Paul Stewart. 8, Gordon Durie. 9, Vinnie Samways. 10, Gary Lineker, who's the captain today. And 11, Paul Allen. And no disrespect to Bergson, but the absence of Mabbutt really at the heart of defence is a serious blow for Tottenham. Van den Hauwe returns to left-back. Fenwick and Torstvedt also in defence. Manager Peter Shreeves really has gone heavily for experience. Well, the substitutes for Forest, Carl Tyler and Lee Glover, and for Tottenham, Justin Edinburgh and Naeem. Well, our referee, far side for him, and Clough in the end brought down by Sedgley, and a free kick to Nottingham Forest. Something like 28 yards, but he has such a ferocious left foot shot on him. Lining it up. Sheringham is the decoy. He hits it straight at Paul Allen. Across the face of the goal. And Forest very nearly drilling home the first goal of the game there, but it's Spurs now on the break with Samways. Lineker's made a brilliant run away to the right for him, and Samways then gets caught up, and it's Sheringham. Laws. It in towards Gemmell. Bergson winning it in the air. Van den Hauwe getting it away. Durie being policed here by Wassell. It's a lovely ball by Durie into the path of Paul Allen. And Laws doing well. Got that into the path of Black, who was lurking on the far side of that Tottenham penalty area. Allen, good play. Lineker also, but swiftly challenged unfairly, it looked to me, there by Des Walker. But maybe, well, Durie had gone on, he hadn't heard the whistle. And there were 2, 4, 6 men in red shirts in that Tottenham penalty area. It may just have been a little bit of over-elaboration there, but certainly looked as though there was an excellent chance arriving for Nottingham Forest. Lee Chapman?
Yes, Roy Keane breaks forward here. And once again, we see Nigel Clough setting up play. Has a presence of mind to turn, put Gary Crosby in, and unfortunately, he just pulled it wide. But people running in the back just weren't quite there.
Wassell. And a job for Gary Lineker now. Wassell shakes his head, feels it was a harsh decision, but Paul Allen galloping through here. Well, the slow motion suggests it was probably the right decision, you know.
Yes, I think it probably was the right decision, but I think Darren Wassell did try to get out of the way. He just couldn't get out far enough.
Right, Lineker, who had a penalty saved in the cup final by Crossley, but not this time. A nerveless piece of football there by Gary Lineker. As Crossley dived, you won't find a better penalty than that. As Crossley dived, he just floated the ball over him, chipped him. Look at that.
Very coolly taken.
Absolutely without nerves. Spurs leading by a goal to 0. Gary Lineker the scorer. Clough hit it straight at Howes. Gemmell getting in there. Forest, of course, were a goal down against Crystal Palace the other evening and came back in great form. So Lineker's in well, get out of the way, he says to Laws, as Des Walker goes forward for Forest, finds Teddy Sheringham. On the far side is Kingsley Black. Still with Sheringham. But Bergson, a good challenge. Bergson there. Forest throw, Crosby with it. Sheringham now to Laws. Sheringham again for Nottingham Forest, crossed in there, Torstvedt. to get to that byline, screws it in there. Sheringham tries to get it back. Clough tries to get it in. Laws tries to shoot it across the face of the goal. In fact, it goes off a Spurs defender for a Nottingham Forest corner. Here's Laws with Crosby outside him. And look at the run by Keane again, but also a tremendous run by Paul Stewart. Gemmell waiting. Juggernaut called Pearce comes forward again. No. Keane plays it wide for Crosby. Lineker's on his feet again. And it's a throw. Strong Forest appeals there for a penalty, for a handball in that the Tottenham penalty area. With Keane, a good shot on the turn, but just wide of the goal. Sheringham trying to get on the end of it. Kings. A goal out of nothing, that for Forest. And Spurs will be looking at each other and wondering how on earth they allowed that to happen. Teddy Sheringham, 3 goals on Wednesday night, and a crucial equaliser here against Tottenham.
Well, it's no more than Forest deserved. Sloppy back pass, Terry Sheringham latches onto it and finishes clinically. Great finish.
Well, it was probably the first mistake that Steve Sedgley had made in the whole game, and he and Pat van den Hauwe get a little caught up here. And Sedgley, just stretching out the leg, had no purchase on it whatsoever. Sheringham was on it like a flash, and that's 1-1. It sent Crosby dancing down that right flank. Sheringham's waiting in the middle. Clough's gone out there to support him. Still with Crosby. As for Crosby, Laws is up, backing him up. Here's Brian Laws. Chance to bang in an early cross. He didn't take it. Crosby's cross cleared, only half cleared. And in the end... But look at Walker again. The stride of a giant to get... Across the face of the goal again. No Spurs player could really get a touch on it. Fenwick tried but failed. Allen in the... Enter Stuart Pearce again. Another block-busting free kick in the offing. The Spurs wall, and behind it Eric Torsford will know about this. It'll need to be properly formed. And you'll need to have brave men in the wall. 5 in the wall. 6 in the wall. There's Stuart Pearce. That lethal left foot of his now. Walker's up there too, but Stuart Pearce curling it wide. Ball played in there towards Sheringham. Keane tried an overhead. Spurs player is down. Black playing it in. It's going to be a throw. Crosby waiting on the far side. Brian Laws again. There's the cross, not a particularly good one. Continues to take him through, but the strength and the timing of Stewart. A long one there towards Sheringham, but Eric. It's a corner. Came off Naeem. Run of Des Walker again. The ball through to Clough. Walker has stayed forward. Suddenly it's Sedgley breaking out of the pack for Tottenham. Dury to Stewart. Pearce with a good header. Perfectly placed into the path of Roy Keane. Now Black. Gemmell. Laws. Spurs being pushed back again. Crosby. Good challenge by Naeem. Black. Long-range shot, but well, it never developed into a shot because it was charged down by Stewart. Fenwick gets it away, but only as far as Stuart Pearce. Into Black. Pearce has gone into the Tottenham penalty area. Kingsley Black again, curling it in there. Crosby trying to make something of it. No penalty. Forest were looking, the referee spread his arms wide. It's with Keane. Everybody buzzing around, and a great save by Torsford. Everybody. King with the shot. Comes through again to Clough, and another corner for Nottingham Forest.
Yes, Forest applying the...
Has struck such venomous free-kick goals in the past. It gives another opportunity for Nottingham Forest. And referee Allison deciding he wants the Tottenham wall back a full 10 yards. So Pearce with his free kick. But driven wide of Torsen, and some good work there by Brian Laws. There goes the final whistle. And it's a cup tie that's still very much up to grabs, with Gary Lineker having scored that first half penalty after 24 minutes. And then a back pass from Steve Sedgley that didn't really quite reach the mark, and Teddy Sheringham was on it like a flash. It's a match on a perfect pitch that has shown us an awful lot of skill, a lot of good movement from both sides, and really, as you say, the tie, Lee Chapman, is still wide open.